All right, let's dive deep today.
Let's get into it.
We're cracking the code on Instagram growth in 2025, and we've got some insider tips straight from
Ooh, insider tips.
from Lens with Alex, this YouTube whiz
Yeah.
who's been blowing up on the platform.
I've seen him, yeah. He's everywhere.
Forget vanity metrics. This is about understanding the algorithm
That's right.
and using those insights to your advantage.
That's it. That's it.
So
Go ahead.
what's interesting about his approach, I think, is that he really emphasizes sending the right signals to the algorithm. It's not just about posting great content.
Right.
It's about proving to Instagram that your content deserves to be seen.
So how do we send those signals? Alex mentions this idea of training your account.
Yeah,
What exactly does that mean?
it's all about consistency, you know?
Okay.
When you consistently engage with content within a specific niche, liking, commenting, saving,
Right.
you're essentially telling Instagram, this is what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Show me more of this. So if I'm constantly liking and saving posts about, say, sustainable fashion,
Yeah.
Instagram will start to understand that my account is all about eco-conscious style.
Precisely. Instagram's algorithm relies heavily on your engagement patterns
Okay.
to create a personalized feed, especially on that Explore page.
Yeah, the Explore page. Yeah.
By focusing your activity, you're tailoring your Explore page to become a treasure trove
Oh, wow.
of relevant content, hashtags, and even trending audios within your niche.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like you're curating your own algorithm by
Yeah.
being intentional with your actions.
Exactly.
Alex actually shows his Explore page as an example, and it's completely dominated by food content because that's what he consistently engages with.
Right. And that's where the real magic happens.
Yeah.
Because you're training your algorithm to show you content that's hyper relevant to your niche.
Yeah.
You're more likely to discover inspiration for your own content,
Okay.
find trending hashtags, and even stumble upon the perfect trending audio to use in your reels.
Speaking of trending audio, Alex stresses that using it is key for boosting reach.
Absolutely.
He recommends heading to the Reels tab, looking for that little upward arrow
Yep.
that indicates a trending sound, and saving it for later, but he doesn't just stop there, right?
Exactly. He takes it a step further and actually advises editing your original content to fit the trending audio.
Interesting.
Think about it. Anyone could just slap a trending sound onto a random video.
Right.
But by adapting your content to seamlessly flow with the music,
Yeah.
you're creating something that feels unique and intentional.
So it's about more than just hopping on a trend. It's about using that trend as a springboard for your own creativity.
I like that. I like that.
Does that also signal to the algorithm that you're putting in the extra effort to create high-quality original content?
That's a great point.
Okay.
By editing your content to match the trending audio, you're not only making it more engaging for viewers,
Right.
you're also showing the algorithm that you're not just mindlessly following trends. You're adding your own creative spin to them. And that can definitely work in your favor when it comes to boosting your reach.
Now let's talk about a feature that's fairly new to the scene. Polls embedded directly into captions.
Yeah,
Alex claims these can be absolute game changers when it comes to engagement.
Oh, absolutely. Interactive content is king on Instagram these days.
Yeah.
Remember that example Alex gave? He got over 43,000 responses
Oh, yeah.
on a simple yes or no poll in one of his captions.
That's wild.
Just shows you the power.
What's fascinating is that polls not only drive engagement,
Right.
they give you valuable insight into what your audience actually wants to see.
You're getting that feedback right then and there.
Yeah.
And think about it. You can use polls to ask your followers about their favorite products, their preferences on design choices, or even just to spark fun, lighthearted debates.
I like it.
It's a fantastic way to get feedback,
Yeah.
understand your audience better, and ultimately create content that truly resonates with them.
Okay, so we've talked about engaging with content in your niche,
Yep.
using trending audio strategically, and leveraging the power of polls.
That's right.
But what about captions?
Captions are often overlooked, but they're absolutely crucial.
Okay.
Think of it this way. A caption is your chance to tell a story, provide context, and create a deeper connection with your audience.
Right.
And a well-crafted caption can actually make a huge difference in how the algorithm views your content.
So Alex lays out a whole caption formula that's designed to keep people hooked
Yep.
and increase their watch time, which the algorithm loves.
The algorithm loves that.
He starts with a hook, something attention-grabbing like a question or a bold statement.
Gotta grab them.
Then you provide the value,
Yeah.
whether it's advice, insights, or even a personal anecdote.
That's right.
This is where you deliver on the promise of your hook and give people a reason to keep reading.
Yeah, you want to offer something that's truly engaging and informative.
And of course, you have to credit your sources.
Of course, always.
If you're sharing information from elsewhere,
Always gotta do that.
always important to do that, and then you wrap things up with a strong call to action.
Absolutely.
Right. Tell people exactly what you want them to do. Encourage them to leave a comment, share the post with a friend, or follow your account for more.
Don't forget that.
And finally, don't forget those relevant hashtags
Of course.
to help your content reach the right audience.
Those are key.
So the takeaway here is that captions aren't just an afterthought.
Nope.
They're an opportunity to engage your audience,
Right.
provide value, and send those all-important signals to the algorithm.
All those signals.
But let's move on to another unexpected tactic that Alex revealed.
Okay.
He actually claims that Instagram's built-in effects can play a role in boosting your visibility.
Interesting.
How wouldn't you guess that?
It might seem counterintuitive,
Yeah.
but using popular effects can actually give your content an algorithmic edge.
Why is that?
Popular effects often tap into trends and leverage Instagram's own platform,
Okay.
which can signal to the algorithm that your content is aligned with what's currently popular on the platform.
Okay.
Even simple effects like the 4K filter can subtly enhance video quality
Okay.
while potentially boosting reach.
So it's almost like giving your content a little extra oomph without even having to try that hard.
Exactly. And who doesn't love a little extra reach?
True, true.
Next time you're creating content, take a moment to browse the effects library.
Yeah.
You might discover some hidden gems that align perfectly with your content
Okay.
and give you that extra algorithmic boost.
Okay, I'm adding that to my list of things to try.
Do it.
This all sounds great, but I'm curious, what happens if you're trying to grow on Instagram,
Yeah.
but you're also sharing your content on other platforms like Facebook?
That's where things can get a little tricky.
Okay.
Alex strongly advises against letting Instagram recommend your content on Facebook if your primary goal is Instagram growth.
It's interesting. It seems like cross-posting would be a good way to reach a wider audience.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want that?
Here's the thing. While cross-posting might get you views from Facebook users,
No?
it doesn't necessarily translate to genuine Instagram followers. And remember, we're not just chasing vanity metrics here.
Right. It's about building a dedicated community of people who are truly invested in your content and your brand.
Exactly. If Instagram is your priority,
Okay.
it's best to focus your efforts on growing organically within that platform. Optimize your settings to prioritize Instagram engagement and pour your energy into cultivating a strong community within that space.
To stay focused and play the long game on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Now let's address the elephant in the room, hashtags.
Hashtags.
Are they still relevant in 2025?
Absolutely. Hashtags are still a valuable tool,
Okay.
but their role has definitely evolved. Think of them less as a way to spam your captions
That's right.
and more as keywords that help the algorithm categorize and distribute your content.
So instead of throwing a bunch of random hashtags at the wall and hoping something sticks, we need to be more strategic and intentional about the ones we choose.
Exactly. Alex recommends using 3 to 7 hashtags,
Okay.
focusing on single word or concise phrases that are super relevant to your niche.
Right.
Think of them as signposts that guide the algorithm to deliver your content to the right audience.
It's like you're speaking the algorithm's language,
That's a good way to put it.
giving it clear instructions on where your content belongs.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, what about this dual strategy of pinning both content and comments? What's that all about?
This is all about maximizing engagement and directing attention to the content that's already performing well for pinned comments. Alex suggests taking advantage of viral posts.
So when you have a post that's really taking off,
Yeah,
hop into the comments and pin one with a strong call to action, something like, follow for more amazing content like this.
exactly. Capitalize on the momentum of that post and make it easy for viewers to become followers. It's a simple yet effective way to convert those casual scrollers into dedicated members of your community.
I love that. But what about pinning content? Is it as straightforward as just pinning whatever post you think is the best?
Not quite. Alex recommends a slightly different strategy here. Instead of pinning content immediately, wait about 30 days after a post starts gaining traction.
Why the delay?
Because pinning a post essentially gives it a second life. By waiting until its initial momentum starts to fade,
Right.
you're essentially giving it a fresh boost of visibility at the top of your profile, ensuring it stays in front of your audience for longer.
That's so clever. It's like giving your best performing content a VIP pass to stay at the top of the feed.
I like that.
So you're strategically using pinning to keep people engaged with your most popular content.
Precisely. And speaking of making a strong first impression, we can't forget about the power of a well-crafted bio.
Yeah.
It's your chance to convert those casual profile visitors into loyal followers.
Alex has a formula for that too, doesn't he?
He does. And it's all about creating a bio that's clear, concise, and compelling. It all starts with your name. Use keywords that are relevant to your niche to make it easy for people to find you when they're searching for specific topics.
So if I'm a fitness influencer, I might include keywords like workout, motivation, or healthy lifestyle in my name.
Exactly. The first line of your bio should clearly and concisely describe your account and what you're all about. Keep it short, sweet, and to the point.
This is like your elevator pitch. Who are you and what do you do?
The second line is all about showcasing the value you offer to potential followers. What problems do you solve? What knowledge do you share? What makes you unique? This is where you convince people that hitting that follow button is worth their while.
And then the third line is all about building a sense of community. Instead of a generic follow me, you want to invite people to join your tribe.
Something like join the fitness journey or become part of our creative community. It's a small change that makes a big difference in creating a welcoming and engaging vibe.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all of these seemingly small details can actually have a significant impact on how people perceive your account and whether or not they decide to follow you.
It's all about creating a cohesive and compelling online presence that draws people in and makes them want to be a part of your world.
This is all incredibly helpful. Before we wrap up part one, any other mind-blowing tactics that we need to know about?
As a matter of fact, there is. And it's one of the more subtle yet potentially powerful tactics Alex revealed.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Let's hear it.
This one involves adding keywords directly onto your videos.
Hold on, you're telling me to actually write words on my videos?
Well, sort of, but not in the way you might think. Alex recommends adding small, practically invisible text keywords directly onto the video itself.
Okay, I'm officially confused. What does that even look like?
Think teeny tiny font tucked away in a corner of the frame. It's almost like whispering a secret message to the algorithm.
So it's completely unnoticeable to the viewer, but the algorithm picks up on it.
Exactly. By embedding relevant keywords, you're giving the algorithm additional context about your video, which can help it get in front of the right audience. For instance, if you're making a video about, let's say, making pottery, you could add the word pottery in tiny text somewhere in the frame.
So it's like a secret code for the algorithm by giving it these little hints. You're helping it categorize your content and deliver it to people who are actually interested in what you have to offer.
That's the idea, and the best part is it's such a low-effort way to potentially boost your video's visibility. It's like a little bonus tip that can make a big difference.
I love it. It's like planting little Easter eggs for the algorithm to find.
Exactly. It's all about being strategic and thinking outside the box when it comes to optimizing your content for the algorithm.
All right, that's it for part one of our deep dive into Instagram growth in 2025. We've covered a ton of ground, but stick around for part two where we'll continue to unpack even more valuable insights from Grow with Alex and explore how you can apply them to your own Instagram strategy.
We'll be right back after a quick break.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Instagram growth in 2025.
We're back.
Before the break, we were geeking out over all the clever ways you can nudge the algorithm in your favor.
It's really fascinating how much strategy goes into something.
Right.
That seems so simple on the surface.
Yeah.
It's not just about pretty pictures anymore. It's about understanding the mechanics behind the scenes.
Exactly. And speaking of strategy, before the break, we were about to dive into Alex's advice on keywords and videos.
Oh, yeah.
This one really piqued my curiosity. It's such a subtle detail that most people wouldn't even think about.
It's like a secret weapon, you know,
Yeah.
for content creators who are in the know.
Uh-huh.
Remember, Instagram's algorithm isn't human.
Right.
It relies on data to understand what your video is about.
Yeah.
So by adding those tiny, nearly invisible keywords, you're essentially giving the algorithm a little cheat sheet.
So let's say I'm making a video about, oh, I don't know, training my pet parrot to sing.
Okay, sure.
Would I just add the words parrot and singing somewhere on the video itself?
You got it. The key is to make the text super small,
Okay.
almost imperceptible to the human eye.
Yeah.
Tuck it away in a corner, maybe blend it into the background a bit.
Yeah.
Your viewers won't even notice it's there.
Okay.
But the algorithm will pick up on those keywords and use them to categorize your content.
It's like speaking directly to the algorithm in its own language, giving it those extra clues to make sure your content ends up in front of the right audience.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's one of those little things that can make a surprising difference in how your video performs.
Yeah.
And, this idea of optimization brings up another point Alex made that I think is really important.
Yeah.
He emphasizes the importance of turning off Facebook recommendations for your Instagram content.
That seems counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Wouldn't sharing your Instagram content on Facebook help you reach a wider audience?
On the surface, yes.
Yeah.
But it can actually dilute your efforts when it comes to building a strong Instagram following. Think about it. If someone discovers your content on Facebook and decides to follow you, they're likely coming from a different platform with different interests and engagement habits.
So even though you might gain followers from Facebook, they might not be the most engaged followers on Instagram.
Exactly.
Because their interests might not align as closely with your content.
Exactly. Remember, we're not just after a high follower count.
Right.
We're building a community of people who are genuinely interested in what you have to offer.
It's about quality over quantity.
Yes.
Finding your tribe and nurturing those connections.
I like that.
So if your goal is to grow on Instagram, keep those Facebook recommendations turned off and focus your energy on creating a thriving community within the Instagram platform. So we've covered a lot of ground so far.
We have.
From niche mastery to strategic hashtag use polls, captions, effects, and even these hidden keyword tactics. It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot.
Do you have any advice on how listeners can actually start applying these tips to their own Instagram strategy?
It can definitely feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
But the key is to start small. Don't try to implement everything at once.
Yeah, right.
Pick one or two tactics that resonate with you and experiment with them.
Okay.
See what works for your audience and your content style.
That's a great point. It's all about finding what works best for you and your brand.
Yeah.
Instagram is constantly evolving, so the key is to stay curious, adaptable, and always willing to experiment.
Absolutely. The most successful Instagrammers are the ones who are always learning, adapting, and refining their approach.
Right.
It's not a one-size-fits-all formula. You have to find what works best for you and your audience.
So embrace that experimental mindset and don't be afraid to try new things. Even if something doesn't work out exactly as you planned, you'll still gain valuable insights that you can use to improve your strategy moving forward. And speaking of experimentation, remember that none of these tactics matter if you're not creating high-quality content that your audience truly cares about.
Content is king. Always has been, always will be. These strategies are tools to help amplify your message, to get your amazing content in front of more of the right people. But at the end of the day, it's the quality of your content that will determine your long-term success.
So find your unique voice, share your passions, tell your story, and create content that you're genuinely proud of. The rest will follow.
Beautifully said. And you know what really resonates with me from Alex's approach?
Yeah.
Is that he's not just focused on gaining followers.
Right.
He's focused on building a community.
It's about creating something that's bigger than just yourself, about fostering connections and building relationships with people who share your interests.
That's right.
It's about finding your tribe and creating a space where you can connect, inspire, and be inspired.
Exactly. And remember, Instagram is a constantly evolving platform. What works today might not work tomorrow.
Right.
So stay curious, stay informed, and never be afraid to experiment and try new things.
That's the beauty of it all, isn't it? It's a constant journey of discovery, learning, and growth now. Before we wrap up this deep dive, I have to ask, what was the most surprising or insightful takeaway for you?
For me, it's the combination of niche mastery and strategic hashtag use. I think so many people get caught up in trying to be everything to everyone.
Right.
But focusing on a specific niche and using hashtags as a signpost for the algorithm is such a powerful way to cut through the noise and connect with the right audience.
I love that. It's about quality over quantity, both in terms of your content and your audience. It's about finding your people and creating something truly special together.
And, I think it's easy to get caught up in the numbers game on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But what I really appreciate about Alex's approach is that he emphasizes the human element of the platform.
He reminds us that behind every profile, every post, every comment, there's a real person with real feelings, real passions, and real stories to tell.
Exactly. And that's what makes Instagram such a powerful platform. It's a place where we can connect with others who share our interests, where we can learn and grow, and where we can share our unique perspectives with the world.
So let's not forget the human element. Amidst all the talk of algorithms and strategies, at the end of the day, it's about connecting with others and building meaningful relationships.
Beautifully said. And on that note, I have one final thought to leave you with, something that Alex didn't explicitly mention in his video, but is something that I believe is crucial for anyone who wants to truly thrive on Instagram.
Oh, I'm all ears. What's the secret?
Don't be afraid to break the rules.
Wait, what? You're telling me to break the rules after we've spent all this time dissecting the best practices and strategies for success?
Not exactly. What I mean is that while understanding the algorithms and best practices is important, it's equally important to find your own voice and be willing to experiment.
So don't be afraid to try new things, even if they go against conventional wisdom.
Exactly. Sometimes the most unexpected approaches yield the most remarkable results, and maybe you'll even stumble upon a new tactic that Grow with Alex himself will be talking about in his next video.
That would be quite the accomplishment, wouldn't it?
It would.
So to sum it all up, take everything you've learned from this deep dive, but don't be afraid to put your own spin on it. Embrace your creativity, experiment fearlessly, and most importantly, have fun.
Because at the end of the day, Instagram should be a place where you can express yourself authentically, connect with others who share your passions, and create something that brings you joy. Now go forth and conquer the ground.
That's a wrap on this week's deep dive into Instagram growth in 2025. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and are feeling inspired to take your Instagram game to the next level.
Until next time, keep experimenting, keep creating, and keep diving deep into the things that inspire you.
Thanks for listening. That was a great point to end on, finding that sweet spot between strategy and authenticity.
Yeah, it's like walking a tightrope sometimes.
Absolutely. But before we let our listeners loose on the Enneagram, I want to circle back to one of the tactics we touched on earlier.
Yeah.
The idea of strategically pinning both content and comments. You mentioned that there's a bit of an art to this, right?
There is. It's about knowing when to strike with pinned comments. It's all about riding the wave of a viral post.
Okay.
When you see a post gaining traction and engagement, jump into the comments yourself and pin one with a strong call to action.
So something like, loving this conversation, hit that follow button for more.
Exactly. It's a simple but effective way to convert those casual viewers into loyal followers while their interest is piqued.
So you're essentially capitalizing on that moment of peak engagement.
Precisely. Now, with pinned content, the strategy is a bit different. Instead of rushing to pin a post right away, Alex recommends holding back for about 30 days after it starts performing well.
That's interesting. Why the delay?
Because pinning a post essentially gives it a second life. By waiting until its initial momentum begins to fade, you're giving it a fresh boost of visibility at the top of your profile, extending its reach and attracting new eyes.
So you're not just highlighting your best content. You're strategically timing the pinning to maximize its impact.
Exactly. It's all about playing the long game, using every tool at your disposal to keep your audience engaged and coming back for more.
I love that. And speaking of making the most of every opportunity, we can't forget about the power of a well-crafted bio.
It's so important.
Your bio is your digital first impression. It's your chance to introduce yourself, showcase your brand, and hook potential followers in just a few lines.
That's right. It's your elevator pitch.
Alex breaks down his bio formula into a few key elements, starting with using relevant keywords in your name field.
Yeah, keywords are so important for searchability.
It's all about optimizing for search. If someone is searching for content related to your niche, those keywords in your name will help your profile pop up. So if you're a travel blogger, you might include keywords like travel, adventure, or destination in your name.
Exactly. Then the first line of your bio should clearly and concisely describe your account and what you offer.
Short, sweet, and to the point, what's your unique selling proposition?
The second line is all about value. What can followers expect to gain from following you? What problems do you solve? What knowledge do you share?
This is where you really highlight what sets you apart from the crowd.
And finally, the third line is your opportunity to foster a sense of community.
Instead of a generic follow me, Alex suggests using a more inviting call to action that encourages people to join your tribe.
Something like join the adventure or become a part of our creative community.
It's that personal touch that can make all the difference in creating a welcoming and engaging space.
Exactly. It's all about sending those subtle signals that invite people in and make them feel like they're part of something special.
Well, I think it's safe to say that our listeners are now armed with a whole arsenal of Instagram wisdom.
They're ready to go.
They're ready to conquer the algorithm and build a thriving community of engaged followers. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive, from mastering the algorithm to crafting compelling captions, experimenting with effects, and even those sneaky little keyword tricks.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's been a whirlwind of insights. But if there's one overarching message I hope listeners take away from this, it's this.
What is it?
Don't be afraid to experiment and find your own unique voice.
So important.
Instagram is a constantly evolving platform, so the key is to stay adaptable, stay curious, and never stop learning.
You got it.
Embrace your creativity, try new things, and most importantly, have fun with it.
That's the most important part.
Because at the end of the day, Instagram is a powerful tool for connection, creativity, and community building.
So well said.
That's a wrap on this week's deep dive into Instagram growth in 2025.
That's it for this week.
We hope you've enjoyed the journey and are feeling inspired to take your Instagram game to the next level. Until next time, keep experimenting, keep creating, and keep diving deep